Alright, let's go, guys. We've got a grand finals between Dragon Kaiser Gaming's Hero up against Team Envy's Cure in the top left side of the map. Now, this is a TVP, and you might think Hero's a big favorite, but that's if you've had your hands covered by covering your eyes over the last year of StarCraft, because Hero, whilst very good, has had some of the most epic throws lately. Mixed in with some of just the cleanest, most awesome and creative strategies, like he always does. So Hero's been a little bit variable in his performance, but more importantly, Cure is on beast mode. Cure looks unstoppable in TVP. I mean, he's looking very good in the other matchups as well, and he's just been an absolute monster lately. So Cure is no one to scoff at. He's going reactor first, no scout here. Kind of greedy way to open the series, but I think that's a pretty good gamble because reactor first does get you double marine production really early. I am curious if he thinks about going for like a double reaper though. We do sometimes see that. Zealot coming out. Okay, guys, that's Zealot before Nexus. So Hero went Cybercore. He's going to go Zealot, Adept Pressure really fast and hard across this map. If Cure skips on the bunker, which you normally do with a reactor first, he could be in trouble. We'll see if that SCV changes rather than rallying back to the minerals. If it goes down here to build a bunker, he will be just fine. But otherwise, he could be in the doo-doo. Warp Gate's on the way immediately, so it looks like a Twilight Council build behind this, guys. And I imagine a second Adept will queue up straight away. Notice he's queued that to make sure the Adept doesn't pop out and get trapped. Stalker coming out after that, actually. 2 Marines are out, second Barracks on the way. Looks like Cure might be going for the 3 racks. Indeed he is! Oh no, 2 Barracks and a Factory, actually. Babylon's a great map for a 2-base push, so not a bad way to play at all. He's going to go after this SCV. The Marines will come down. Great micro by Cure so far. Pulls the SCV away. And the Zealots... Oh, don't go in there. Yeah, you do not want to fight 4 Marines with 1 Zealot. Luckily, the Zealot only loses about 36 shields. Adepts coming in behind it. Twilight Council is there. With this ramp, and now about to have 6 Marines. I mean, 6 Marines beats this pretty hard. But Cure, I think he's got to pull back. Does he? He's going to stand and fight. The Zealot gets a hit off. Oh, okay. Can the Adept get any of this? No. I mean, that's just 1 Marine. That's totally fine there. Thinks about shading in. Does he see the second Barracks? No, he sees a Factory. But that's a slightly late Factory. Does that maybe make him think twice about, is there a Barracks hidden in there? I don't think so. The Stalker is here. There's still no bunker. Stalker plus Adept Shade is going to be annoying. Hero's going to micro his little ass off right now. And remember, this is the EPT Korea 173 Grand Finals, I believe, is the right number. Second gate's on the way behind it. No robo just yet. No sign of a third base. Up 4 workers is Hero. He needs a little bit more damage, but notice he's got no high ground vision, only when the shade is active. So he can maybe pick off 1 or 2 more Marines, but that Marine count is getting very high. And look at that Cure. He anticipates the shade timing. Oh, get out of there, Hero. The Marines trap it. Oh my god, he turns to get a hit off. Hero way too greedy there. Almost loses the Stalker. He's going to turn around and fight with it because he's Hero. And the man has absolutely no chill. But at the end of the day, he does keep that Stalker just barely alive. It's like 2 Marine shots from going down. Bunker's going to go down. We're going to Starport and a Factory with a Reactor. So he's actually looking for the double drop. Interesting. Robo's there. Third Nexus does start. 2-gate Blink can have trouble defending a 2-1-1 because you've only got a handful of Stalkers. Now, if you see it coming, you realize what's up, you're usually in a good spot. As Hero, you can kind of spot the double drop and get out there and intercept it. But if that drop slides into the back of your base without you seeing it, that's where, you know, there's problems. Now, right now his Stalkers are here, but if his Stalkers pull away, I believe there's a tiny area where he might not have vision for at least the first few Marines that drop out in that corner. Third base is over there, and of course the frontal push that could follow it can always be very impactful. Factory's going to be building add-ons, I believe, just for other buildings. The great thing about Cure's position is he doesn't need to invest in tanks and Ravens. He can just go straight biomine. He'll build a tech lab, then he'll lift the factory, build a reactor. He'll start pumping mines, start dropping everywhere. And that's going to be pretty massive for him. Now, Cure is playing defensive for now. He doesn't want to get too aggressive. He's being very careful. He doesn't know if it's 4-gate Blink. As I say that, he completely unloads his bunker and flies across the map. Never mind, guys. He's going all-out aggression. But 8 Stalkers are ready. Observer's going to go across the map. He's got a probe out front of his base in case a frontal attack arrives. And I think he's well positioned. 7 Stalkers in the mid, 1 Stalker in the edge of the main. No shield battery. And of course, those Marines do have stim. And there we go, as you can see, that reactor building on the factory, as we pointed out. Hasn't started concussive just yet. Combat shields has only just begun, along with +1. And seeing the 3 barracks, seeing the eBay, this looks like a very standard setup. Hero's Observer will sneak out of there. Look at that, those Stalkers getting dropped on. Get out of there, Hero. Those probes need to pull. He's already going to lose 1, 2, 3, 4 probes, 6 probes. Oh, my lord. Oh, my lord. So smoothly stimming those Marines as they unloaded. That Stalker blinks to the low ground, which is a pretty cute move. But 7 probes going down. Big damage this early in the game. The drop now hiding in the bottom in the dead space. Just going to be very careful there. And we're going Storm Drop. Okie doke. Storm Drop will be the follow-up for Hero, I believe. It could just be Archons for now since he's pretty broke. He can't really afford it. And he's going to try and blink that Stalker out of there. It does survive for now. Feels like Q has got complete control over this game. He's got a massive supply advantage. He's basically gotten through the scary early game. That Reactor First build, man. I'm telling you, killing 3-4 Marines is not enough for delaying your Nexus that long, committing multiple Zealots, Adepts, and Stalkers across the map. Hero's follow-up was not that quick. And then once you've got full bio control, Q has basically skipped the whole part of the game that Terran hates. Think about it, guys. What do Terran hate? They hate having 3 tanks, a Raven, this weird, really late stim shield sitting in their corner of the map till the 8-minute mark, finally moving out. And Protoss is on 3 full bases with Colossus and shield batteries out front there third to intercept you. This is not that game. This is a Protoss who's barely mining on his third base. He's supply blocked right now. He's got High Templar. I don't think he realizes he never made Storm, guys. He did not have the gas earlier. I think he thinks he made Storm, but he didn't. He's already expecting to lose the gateway in the core, so he's rebuilding it right now. He's making more High Templar. Oh my god, Hero. Yeah, Hero's dead, guys. He has... No, okay, he morphs Archons. He does at least realize. That's something. I was like, man, yeah, he's dead anyway. There's nothing he can do. Archon Immortal Stalker, these units are not comeback units, guys. Not when you've got half the RV supply. Kua could do anything he wants. As long as he doesn't pick up and fly into the Stalkers, this game is over. He's just way outpacing him in terms of the numbers. If you have Colossus and Sentries, that's an army that can scale really well because there's no tech support for Kua. Zealot run by coming in. Hero, if you bring back this game, you're an absolute magician. You're a wizard, mate. Show us what you got. I know some people get annoyed when I call games as over. They go, oh, I wouldn't know it's over because I don't know that much. You take away the suspense big. Guys, I'm wrong all the time. The whole point is he should be dead. You know, I know I don't say it exactly, but he should be dead. Doesn't mean he will be dead. Beautiful blink. Shuts down those 2 Widow Mines before they can get burrowed. Just nice split fire there for Hero. And Hero especially is one of the guys much like Dark and Raynor who you never want to count out of a game because they are so very powerful in messy positions. Now, this building layout is terrible for Kua. He didn't leave an opening in his building. It's only there. You want to leave a single space opening so you can get back. Now, it is nice because the Zealots can't really chase through that choke point, but it's awkward to get in and out of your main. So this is going to be very frustrating to kind of hunt down warp prisms and that sort of stuff. You don't want to create such a big continuous wall. A single space gap there would be perfect to create a choke point to defend the Zealots. Now, Hero's he's being given a lot of time. Normally, I'd say this is a huge mistake from the Terran. Protoss is going to, have more chances as it goes later. But we can see the worker count. Equal workers favors Terran. Ghost Academy coming in. He's building Vikings as well, which you might think, well, there's no Colossus. That's a mistake. But he's actually just doing it to get rid of the Prism. 3 SCVs and a refinery go down. The bio's there. The Storm is not quite ready, but it will be in a moment. Oh my god, he's F2ing his Prism into the fight. Careful, he does unload the Zealots in the battle. Oh, okay. He picks up a High Templar, drops it, gets a decent Storm, but not an amazing Storm, and I think Hero needs to back out. He's bleeding out way too many units. The Immortals are doing decent damage. He's got 1 Storm left. Just 1 Storm. 1 Storm to rule them all. 3 Ghosts are about to pop. This is Hero's window to try to get the most value out of Storm. That one landed as a big juicy, but I don't know if a big juicy is enough. Right now, he needs the biggest juicy. Hero needs to bloody milk this Terran like he's a bloody grapefruit. I don't know. I don't know why a grapefruit, guys. I was thinking, what fruit is kind of bitter? It's healthy if you can eat it, but, no one really likes eating it. And that's Protoss versus Terran right now, especially on a small map like Babylon. It's going to be a little bit bitter as you try to get in there and overwhelm this boy. Hero, of course, trying to fight from behind. He is the hero of comebacks, but in this scenario, he's got to do some wizard shit. Prism's going to go down to the bottom left side. Excuse my French. Sorry, guys. Continuing the streak of not being PG-13. Damn. I promise you that's the last one in this cast. Last one. Too many people have their kids watching in the living room with them, and they've been frustrated at that. It's all good, guys. Ghost goes down. A few SCVs do fall. Bit of mining time. I mean, Hero's doing a good job of buying time, and there's always the dream of getting, to double Robo Disruptor. Problem is, he's only got 1 Robo. He's only on +1 versus 1-1. With the armory coming up, I mean, Kua... It feels like, yeah, okay, I do think he should split a drop-off, right? I really think a single dropship in the main basically wins the game right now, and he doesn't need everything here to defend. He's got an insane medevac count as well. 9 medevacs here. Loses 1 of them. That probably helps Kua, because he can replace it with actual fighting units. He doesn't have a 4th command center, and he hasn't started his 2-2 just yet, guys. So there is a lack of continuation for Kua. If somehow Hero can keep this 4th alive, he's actually in an okay position. But he's down 45 army supply. The Zealot Archon in the south does get intercepted. A Storm doesn't really land in any meaningful way. Another High Templar comes forward. Big Storm could land, but no! EMP is too good. Where is the rest of the army? It's coming in from the south. That Archon is going to get taken out by the Widow Mines. The Zealots as well. Big Storm does land. He's got one more. No! It's a decent one, but he drops it behind Cure, expecting him to retreat. Cure is already moving forward to collapse on his forces, and pretty decent micro for Hero, I gotta say. That Storm coming in from behind. That's where High Templar are best, when they're unexpected, when they kind of trickle in after a fight's already underway from an unexpected angle. Does land a big Storm, but of course Cure was far too far ahead. Who needs to scout when you go reactor first and you've got a ramp? Beautiful micro in the early game from Cure, and a fantastic way to set the pace for this series. Hero has looked kind of desperate and like he needs to do crazy stuff to beat Cure recently, and he still beats him a fair amount of the time. But it's this pressure Cure puts on him where he says, yeah, when we play anything approximating a standard game, you look like you don't stand a chance against me, mate. And that's why Hero is going to need to keep on bringing out those special tactics. Alright, guys. Well, that was a rough game one, but, you know, the Zealot Adept pressure doesn't find its mark. You always feel a little behind. Babylon, you also feel a little bit behind. So Hero is now going to go into Dragon Scales, which is another Terran map, isn't it? I know Zergs struggle on this map versus Terran. I feel like Protoss do as well. I mean, it's good for 4-gate Blink in the main, so maybe Hero did pick this map. I can't imagine he picked Babylon. I mean, Babylon's the Terran map, but either way, a little bit confusing for me. I'm always trying to update my knowledge of the maps, and Hero is the sort of guy who maybe just says, no, Dragon Scales is great for me, dude. Good for backstabs, good for blinking in the main base. You know, other Protoss players might be turtling on Phoenix Colossus and struggling to defend the main from Doom drops while defending this third base, but not me. I don't even play Phoenix Colossus that much. He is very capable of it, but I don't think he really ever does it versus Cure, if memory serves. I feel like he'll mix it in versus Maru and a few other players, but, you know, Hero, I think he's a little wary of Cure. Now, you guys might wonder, why is he placing the gateway and then changing it to a Cybercore? It's just to check the placement. He's just bringing the grid up to kind of see exactly where he wants to place it, and then he just cancels and then selects Build Cybercore and clicks it in the same spot. You can't do that with the Cybercore because the gateway is not finished yet, right? So you don't have Cybercore tech unlocked. And they're the same size structure. They're both 3x3s. Command centers are, I believe, 4x4, but they have curved edges. A depot or a pylon is a 2x2. Just in terms of the little squares, the little grid on the map. We often call them hexes, even though they really aren't. They are more little squares. Zealot's going to come out again. SCV sees it, though. Q is like, yeah, dude, I'm scouting, mate. You ain't going to do nothing. The SCV, is he going to track the Zealot? He's like, hey, buddy, what you up to? Are you going to the Terran base? I'm going there too. We're walking the same way. How about we go together? No, this isn't the way. Why are you walking this way? Can you stop effing following me, man? The Zealot not too happy about that. The Reaper, of course, that way is able to pin the Zealot back on the Protoss side of the map. And Hero Zealot essentially serves no function. But Q did at least have to commit to an SCV scout. He's got a bunker coming up before second gas, so he's playing very safe in the follow-up. And Twilight Council there as well. I always love it because I always send the SCV straight home. But whenever I'm watching these top-tier Terrans, they're very good at tracking the enemy units with that SCV. Like, if Clem sees a few Zerglings leaving his base off the pool first, his SCV will try to follow it, and then his Reaper will just come intercept them on the map. Because if you don't see it, you have to leave the Reaper at home, which is, of course, kind of annoying. So this way you get to use the Reaper, you know, you get forward, you get some decent scouting. He doesn't know about the Twilight Council. It's a very good wall-off for Hero. Second gateway at the front very quickly at 3 minutes, which adds a lot of safety there. This Adept kind of looking out front. Q is checking to make sure there's no proxy. He says, it could be proxy 3-gate. But he says, I think if it's proxy 3-gate, it's probably going to be over here. Doesn't see it, and he feels confident. Actually, no, he checks both sides. So yeah, he's very worried about proxy 3-gate. Technically could be Stargate as well, but proxy 3-gate's very big in the meta right now. Max has been winning a lot of games off it. Like, he's just mixing it in a lot, and it often, I've even asked him, I've been like, why did you do that on that map? And he's like, yeah, I don't know. I just had like a feeling that it would be good, and it was actually perfect. Whenever I've asked Max, he's like, yeah, I don't know. I just had a feeling, and yeah, it seemed to work. So maybe that semi-conscious pattern recognition, realizing, hey, this will be unexpected for me at this point in the series. Hero doesn't do it as often, because I think Hero is known as an aggressive player. So people are kind of ready for those sort of shenanigans a little bit more. They're scouting so heavily for it. Adept does get the Reaper kill, which is fantastic. Blink is, of course, done. First observer's on the way. And guys, interestingly, we do have a medevac, but it's a single Widow Mine drop. This is the softest pressure ever out of Cure. And he's already building tanks. So bunker, oh, I love that wall off. Yeah, you put a tank like here. If they blink, they can't get out, especially if you put like one more depot there. And then you'll put another tank up here. I don't really like the building placement, though. I will say that. I guess you could argue that his add-ons aren't exposed, which is the main thing Blink Stalkers take advantage of. But I always feel like this leaves your tanks exposed. So I guess that's why he's playing extra safe right now. Oh, look at that. The Stalkers and the Observers are just waiting out of vision. They're like, you know you want to drop in here, don't you? Come on. Come on, give me the medevac. 5 Stalkers is enough to 2-shot a medevac, remember, guys. 9 Stalker shots to kill a medevac. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Takes out the Widowmine. Good enough. And he knows the medevac's going to go home. So he's going to try and... He could move over to this side of the map and cut that off on the retreat. Only 5 Stalkers are out. We've got a third Nexus at 5 minutes with a Templar Archives going up before that. He's going to go straight for Storm Drop, guys. I think we'll see Storm Drop harassment in this game as well. And indeed, these Stalkers are looking for the cutoff, but the medevac, yep, it's going to fly into him. So as long as Hero hangs around for a few seconds, he will see this. Oh, Cure, though, with the quick boosty boost back to the corner of the map. I think at this point as Hero, you don't really care. You give up on it. You're just like, whatever. Just let... I mean, he's going to forget about it for a few minutes. Maybe it'll die later. Maybe I get the catch on it. It's not the most important thing in the world. Third command center goes up at 5 minutes 40. Very defensive setup. And actually, you can see this barracks is guarding the siege tank a little bit. So that positioning of not guarding your siege tanks I was worried about earlier, he kind of corrects it there. And I think at this point, Cure realizes, hey, there's 6 minutes. Like, it's way too late for 4-gate blink. It can't be that. Even though I never scouted it. Actually, he saw the gases on the natural. So he knew it wasn't 4-gate blink. He knows that this is either quick Colossus or quick Storm. Raven on the right side got spotted by the probe coming in. Stalkers are ready. He scans. He sees a lot of gateways at a pretty early timing. And this makes you think charge. That's what I would be thinking if I was in his shoes. I would be thinking charge Storm off that rather than Colossus. Funnily enough, we know Storm hasn't even started. How many High Templar are out? 4 High Templar are out on this map. That's actually 5 High Templar. I love it. A lot of Protoss players only build 2 or 3 Stormers, and then they run out of Storm so quickly. But Hero's like, dude, if I'm going to delay my third this long and have worse economy than the Terran, I need a lot of Storm to make up for that. And Cure is afraid of moving out to take his third. I don't think he lifts that straight away. I guess by the time the orbital finishes, he'll probably move out. Yeah, he's going Ghost Academy. He has the read on this. So seeing the gateways, he's expecting Storm. Last game was Storm as well, so it's not particularly surprising. Missile turret is already there to block the Storm drop on both sides. Dude, I don't know about this turret here. I gotta say, I'm critical of that. I'd much rather that be down either here or here, because a prism could just go around behind that or even drop in range of the turret and still get a good Storm off on the mineral line. But the one on the natural is pretty much perfect. You can't get past that. Robo Bay's on the way very quickly. Oh, Hero. Hero realizing his opponent's turtled up. This is what we want to see more from Hero. How many times have we seen him be like, I need to do damage, and he flies into the missile turret and just loses his prism, and then he just A-moves like into a wall of tanks? Hero showing what we love. This is Hero at his peak skill, where he's saying, oh, you're just camping? No worries. I'm going to go second Robo Bay. I'll go into Colossus and Disruptors. I've got 6 gases, 3 bases full. You might be a bit out on supply, but you are stuck in your corner of the map with no information. You don't know that I'm making this transition, right? A scan did see the gases go down, so we can definitely make a bit of an assumption, but Cure is very afraid to move out to that base. He's basically like, I need ghosts. If I don't have ghosts, I can't do this. I would argue he should build a Viking as well. Notice the starport is going up to 7 medevacs. If you get a Viking or 2, you can shoot down the prism. And remember that Storm Drop is one of the scariest things that you have to contend with. That's the big ambush that can blow your army up. Oh, sorry, guys. I just muted my microphone for a second there. Apologies for that. Just accidentally bumped it. I think that was a good 30 seconds. Hopefully not too long. Anyways, I was just saying people in the chat were making fun of Hero's wall-offs and how I always teased him about it. But he's actually been way better at it, guys. He takes like 3 months to get good at wall-offs each season. Oh, nice feedbacks and saves, both of them. That's actually really cute. That's almost all the healing gone from this army. Wow, the ground army sucks though. He's got so little ground army. 2-1 upgrades, Colossus range, almost here. It's not there yet. He needs to land a storm in this army. 1 storm. Yes, that's a very good storm. Okay, because he's got to defend this 4th base. He's got to move his army down here. Right now, Hero needs to move that army down. Oh man, he almost loses that prism. He's got to move these units down. Hero, he's very spread out with his units. I think he's got to start pulling these guys down over here. He's trying to defend with basically storm and almost nothing else right now. It's kind of nice that he's pre-spread. Oh, good storms, but he does cop a big EMP. The Disruptors, oh no, the Disruptors ran forwards. His Colossus and Zealots a little bit slow to join the party here. He's going to dive on it. Can Hero take out this giant army from Cure? He gets some juicy storms all over it. But if he can't clear the tanks, then it won't be enough. The tanks do go down to the Zealots. Beautiful defense by Hero. He does lose 10 probes, so it's not the cleanest of fights. But, oh my god, he's still chasing him down. Cure's still here. Okay, Cure might be able to turn this to his favor if Hero chases too far, but there's more balls where that came from. And the lack of healing means Cure has to go home. Cure, did he have a 4th behind this? Did he have... He's got 2-2 started, but no 4th command center. So that's actually... That was a very committed attack. Now, 2-1 upgrades are soon to be finished, but he's lost his Colossus. 2 Colossus are building. He needs those for the sustained damage. There's 3 observers on the map, but Hero hasn't brought one back yet. This Widowmine is a problem for him right now. The Stalkers and the Zealots trying to deal with it. Widowmine does take out one of the Zealots. Disruptors, Stalkers, Zealots, and a single High Templar coming over. Now, remember, he doesn't have any more High Templar. He lost them all in that fight. He's only got a single one. And he doesn't have time to rebuild them because Q is keeping the pressure on. So Q is stopping him from building the High Templar, the Warp Prism, all those tools that he used in the first hold. Now he's stuck to a more generic Robo defense. Widowmine takes the shields and 10 hit points off that Colossus. Finally, that Widowmine goes down. 4th Command Center has started behind this, going up to 8 barracks as well is Q. So Q is in a decent spot, but the upgrades are actually ahead for Protoss. And if Hero can just feel a little more confident about his position, that'll be fantastic. He's also got Zealot pylons he can use for Zealot run-bys. He's going to start chasing this army down. There's no Vikings, and there is 2 Colossus, soon to be 3 on the map. Apparently there's 2 Vikings at home, but none in production. And it feels like Hero is regaining control. If he can get a 5th base up, start his 3-2 upgrades, he will be good. Right now, though, Hero's getting a little bit focused on army. This feels like Hero's going for an all-in. It's so funny, because at this stage of the game, a lot of players are just like all about defending and building economy and bases. Hero is like just massing Stalkers and splitting his army. He really thinks Q is about to throw an army into him, and he's not. And finally, Hero goes for +3 attack, +2 armor, and the 5th base. But Q did an exceptional job of keeping him in a state of fear, of heightened awareness, of being like, oh god, he's going to push it at any moment. I don't have all the tools I need. But now he's got 4 High Templar. They're all on the right side. This army on the left needs something with it, whether it be a Sentry for Guardian Shield, a few Disruptors, a few High Templar. On its own, that army is... It's okay, but it's not going to deal with a big bio ball like that. You got to be very cautious of this fact. Dark Shrine finally coming in as well, of course. A few more gateways, so he's going from 8 to 10 gates. 5th base on the right side is a little isolated. Looks like that will go down. Good cancel for Hero. Just a shame his army was slightly out of position. He's got decent map vision with observers and zealots and stuff, but as these zealots get cleaned up, he does lose a little bit of that control. Hero, he's going to take the central base. Okay, that's a good idea. Now, this opens up his main base as the weakest angle for him to try and defend. He's got to be really wary of that main base Doom Drop. That is the biggest move for Cure. And look at this. If he can catch him out, do some damage here, then pick up, go in the main, then that's pretty big. Couple of juicy balls going out, though. And it's a pretty decent-sized army, but Hero's pulled his whole army to defend. Cure, I think he's getting okay trades as long as he doesn't cop the big... Oh, feedback storm! Oh, man. Okay, the Stalkers are going to try to chase. That may be an overextension. The initial blink is always punishing, but if you can then chase with one more blink to get the medevacs, that'd be big. Army on the left side being spotted by the Observer. So Hero has great map awareness. He's got a good idea of what's going on. Cure, on the other hand, though, I always think, well, you know, he's all-in failed or this or that. It's never an all-in with Cure. I never feel like Cure is completely all-in. He's just getting ahead in every way. I've got 3-3, I got Ghost, I got a 5th Command Center, I got +2 ship weapons. So when I start building Liberators, my Liberator's going to 2-shot your Stalkers. He's got like all those little details coming in behind it, and he's adding the Viking count as well. He's up to 6, soon to be 8 Vikings, which means those 3 Colossus are going to lose a lot of their effectiveness. And I really feel like a lot of the oomph for Hero to contest this late game, it's in the ability to manage 7 Disruptors and 6 High Templar simultaneously. Especially Storm is very good, because if the Vikings come forward to snipe your Colossus, Storm, a single Storm on the Vikings is massive. Oh, watch out! Oh god, oh god, oh nice pounce. Colossus goes down there, but he's gonna get jumped on. High Templar coming, oh, he doesn't get the unload! The Vikings snap the... Hero, you need to run away, you need to run away. You just lost a Colossus and a full prison for free. You need to get out of there. He's gonna lose an Immortal as well. It's not game over if he pulls back. That was rare patience and calm from Hero. He managed to waistband it there. He managed to control himself. That was very, very impressive, guys. Now notice, of course, Hero's got very logical control groups, guys. All of his Stalkers and an Observer in one key and a single Disruptor on his second army key. Exactly what we'd expect from Hero. Army on the right side coming in over here for Cure. His army split 50-50, which sets him up for a bit of a Sanger. Oh, okay, Storm does zone out that left side. Cure's going to disengage. This is a scary fight. I think he'd rather fight in 2 separate areas of the map. This is actually just scary in general for both sides. This fight is so hard to manage. One big Storm or Disruptor changes everything at the same time. If you don't land those big Storm and Disruptor, this Protoss army crumbles to this Terran army sandwiching you. Command center in the top right is up. That's 5 bases. And oh man, being denied his 6th base again. Hero is like, get out of here. Actually, no. Good recall, man. That's a good recall. He's going to blink after it. Get a Viking. Almost gets a second one. Nowhere to run for Cure, but Cure's going to have to just trade this army out. He says, hey, you're trying to flank me. You got to deal with this front on. And he's shoving across through the middle at the same time. Oh, man, Cure doing such a great job here. Look at this. He's coming in from that side right now. That other side's going to come in from the rear. In the rear with the gear. Cure pulls out his large Terran drill, brandishes it in the air, and says, I just oiled this bad boy, bitch. And, oh, okay, good spread. He doesn't take a single ghost with that Disruptor shot. 8 Disruptors are out, 2 Colossus, 2 more building, plus 3 armor's almost done. He's got +1 plasma shield, so Hero's upgrades a continuing problem. 4 Liberators are building. The only thing that's going for you know, the Q is missing is no advanced ballistics, so no lib range just yet. I don't think he built a fusion core. He did, but he's forgotten the upgrade. He's making +3 attack and all these other upgrades. This is a good little trade. Each time he pushes in, it's just when he's retreating, he has to, like, extricate himself from the dangerous scenario. Like, get a bit of damage, get the hell out of there before the splash damage catches up with you. I like the random High Templar. He's hunting for a Stormy Storm right now. A couple feedbacks. Yep. A couple feedbacks would be nice. Well, takes out 1 medevac, almost gets a second one. Disruptor zoning. Army on the right side. We still haven't seen the DTs do anything, guys. I think that's a big mistake here, and he's now going to lose his 6th base and all the workers there. He's going to jump forward, though. Hero just says, oh, you're gonna counterattack? Okay, that means this is only half of your army, and I think I could break half your army. He's attacking into a well-defended Terran position, though, and I think this is a good enough fight for Cure. As bad as that looked for Cure, losing so much army, he's going to kill 2 bases on the other side of the map. There's no recall because the EMP on the Nexus and the cooldown still isn't done. It's still 20 seconds from recall cooldown. This game's been so action-packed, it feels like less than that. Hero still has a large army. 2 Colossus, a bunch of Archons, some Disruptors. He's going to try to push in a lot of infrastructure here. He could move right and clear that, but he doesn't really have enough units to take out the planetaries. Stalkers tried to warp in at home. With the battery cannon, I think they can defend this. Q is going to need to get these guys out of trouble. As 10 more Stalkers warp in. Mass Stalker! You know what, guys? Mass Stalker, they're the worst units in straight-up fighting, but they're mobile, and with a few bits of splash damage, they are the quickest to hunt down a Terran that splits himself up all over the map. So even though you feel like, okay, Stalkers aren't good, if you realize it's a small section of wounded units, you go Mass Stalker, you hunt down that part of the army. Vikings are sitting in the open as well. Hero is going to capitalize very well. Yes, his economy took a big bruising, but it's these Vikings that are right now cruising for a bruising. Archons, Disruptors, Colossus moving over that side. He's going to take a bottom left base. Right now, we've got a mineral line full and a mineral line mostly full. So there's still 2 bases mining, which is decent income against these 2 bases mining. So similar income for both sides. Probably a little better for Cure if he drops mules. And he's making more orbitals right now as well coming up here. But he's down 40 army supply. It's mostly Stalkers, so there is hope for Cure. But the lack of advanced ballistics means these Liberators aren't reaching quite as far as you'd like them to. He's going to move left now. The Liberators are out of position. Q needs to re-siege those immediately. He's going to try and do it, but oh man, the Bio trying to pull back the balls! The balls flying in between the buildings, landing some big juicies. It does back away from the Liberators, which I think is the right call. Oh, Liberator harass on the left side. Q is trying to pull Hero's attention away desperately. Planetary needs to mass repair. It's going to. Stalker's going to take out 1 lib, 2 lib. The third Liberator does survive for now. Hero, careful, attacking into a planetary is dangerous at the best of times. He's headbutting into this planetary. It might still be enough if he can take it out. He does. He's just got the critical mass. He's got the critical mass. A lot of players would have been afraid to do that, but he is brave enough. Q is Liberator getting some damage. Pin pricking Hero. But you know what, guys? When the Giants picked you up, ripped your head off your shoulders and is eating your bloody face as a snack, pinpricking him ain't going to do anything. It's good earlier if you distract him before he rips your head off. But at this point, Hero's ripped Q's head off, and he's in there looking for the winnow. Supply is not that high for Hero. There's like, you know, the dream of like these Liberators killing 5-10 units. I don't know, though. I just don't feel it's going to happen with only this is the last mining base. A handful of bio falling back behind the planetary. The Liberator had gone down. The missile turret actually got a few shots on the Colossus. The Colossus is going to get focused down. One of them falls. The last Colossus standing. And 5 hit points, it goes down. There we go. Archon Stalker going to take out like 3 or 4 of the medevacs, though. And of course, that cost the entire dregs of Kua's army to take out those Colossus. 4 probes building at a time. Guys, these probes are bloody daredevils. I don't know. Oh my god. They're playing probe chicken right there, man. Marty McFly probes on that base. Going right up to the line and just not quite getting blasted. The Liberator, though, what they weren't accounting for is if the car actually swerves towards you when you're a pedestrian on the sidewalk. It's exactly what happened, man. It's like I've been watching those, been seeing those videos of like thieves, people who like pickpocket, and then like, you know, it's countries where like people are always grabbing people's bags and stuff. And like, I saw a video of a guy swerve his car off the road when he saw this guy grab a woman's bag to literally like ram the guy over on the sidewalk. And I was like, I don't know where in the world that is, but I am both like, justice, yes, and also, oh my god, you could have killed that guy. That's essentially what the Liberator is doing to the probes, guys. This is a vindictive Liberator. He's played a lot against Protoss. He doesn't like them. And Q is hanging in there, but he's definitely dead, which is why we're talking about random videos on the internet of thieves getting run over, guys. Anyways, I think he was okay. He stood up and kept kind of hobbling away afterwards. He wasn't quite running, he was hobbling. But, you know, it wasn't like he squished him with the guy. Anyways, I'll stop talking about that. Archon Stalker, Colossus Disruptor coming in. And hats off to Hero for playing such a nice game, really. Kua looked pretty good, but I think it was all about that incredible spready defense. I was saying you need to bring your army down, right? When he was defending his natural earlier. Well, this is actually sick. Kua takes out all the Archons. No, the friendly fire disruptor. Okay, he pulls his elves back at the last second. Good move. But yeah, I think it was down in this area, right? Where there was that giant spread. And he basically was like, I just need to like whittle you down with splash damage because I have no core to my army. I've gone lots of High Templar with Storm. I'm going Disruptors and Colossus, but I have like 6 Zealots and 6 Stalkers. So I just have to stay spread out and drag the fight out. And especially I think the feedbacks to open it up is what was so beautiful. The ambush High Templar feedbacking the medevacs on the move out was actually so slick. And it's what allowed him to drag that fight out so effectively. Otherwise the medevacs would have been healing through a lot of the Storm chip damage. But as it is, Hero now has managed to smash this, and I'm very impressed. It's good to see that he fights back in the big macro game. Q is playground normally, but Hero showed really good adaptation. He didn't overcommit to the aggression. He macroed up when he saw that Q was turtling, and that's what you need to be. To be the whole package as Hero, you need to be able to switch between macro and aggression, and he did it flawlessly. All right, guys. Up here in the top left side, he's fought back in that one. It's Hero. He's a bit of an underdog, I feel, in this series, which is weird to say about Hero ever. But I just think Kua is so dominating in TVP right now. And that's why I'm kind of casting this with a bit of a Hero bias. So I'm sure there's already someone who's commented. Because this channel, I do quite a bit of semi-professional casting. Right? I'm not super duper professional, and I do some, you know, dirty analogies and things every now and then. But it is, you know, I try to cast the games, and people often, depending on the cast, they're like, so biased against my player, and I always say yep. What's your point? That's it. That's how I like to cast that way. I like to get on board with one of the players. Often the one I see is the underdog in any situation, because for me it's how do you continue from there. And right now, Kua is a rock solid beast in the matchup, playing macro games. Yet he's opened proxy barracks and it's been scouted already. I don't understand. How did Hero know that he was proxying? I don't think Q has been proxying that much. So he had a gas already up behind it. Wait, was he planning? Okay, so he was planning to go 2 racks Marine into Factory, but because it got scouted, he's like, cancel the barracks, just build a Reaper, even though I was planning to build Marines and a bunker. Just swap out of it. And you know what? Very quick Nexus for Hero, which is a good idea for him. He doesn't have a Zealot on the way, though. Ooh, he does bring a second probe, but this bunker placement is really annoying, man. Can he get it up? That Reaper's out in 5 seconds. And if you stay here another 3 or 4 seconds, then the probes are dead. The probes don't leave by about 2 minutes, then you're going to start losing them. So, yeah, he's like, he wants to chase the SCV away, but that SCV could go back in and finish it. I think Stalker's about 10, 12 seconds away. Probe comes down, sacrifices his life. I think that was a miss-rally for Hero. I think Hero forgot to re-rally his Nexus is what happened there. If he can get another probe, that'd be a great start for Cure. Oh, he gets it! But will he get punished? If he loses the Reaper, it's not worth. But if he could keep the Reaper alive and get it in the bunker and get the SCV in. Oh, beautiful opening for Cure, considering he had his proxy rack scouted. Most players would call this a terrible situation. Maru has a way of slipping out of these situations and coming out on top. I don't normally think of Cure as that guy. I normally think of Cure as the guy where if this sort of opening doesn't go right, it's not great for him. Now, I'm not saying he's ahead or anything, but definitely not a bad position. And I think Hero's regretting that second pylon placement. He should have built it here so that he could put a battery on the low ground. But now he can't do that. He's going to have to wait for 2 Stalkers to really break the bunker. In the meantime, those probes have to rally up into his main base. He's going for a Twilight Council, which is super delayed, coming down at 3 minutes. I mean, the factory's really late. The command center's on the high ground. It's not an optimal position for Cure, but it is a very annoying position for Hero, and I feel like this actually works out okay. So I think this might come out pretty even once all is said and done. Maybe slightly ahead for Hero. Does force a bunker at home. You know what's funny about that bunker rack, guys? There's nothing that can get inside it. He's got to send the Reaper all the way home because the barracks is still floating home across this giant map, Gressman. So you're like, ha! Behold, my empty bunker defending my base. Ugh. An SCV gets inside and starts holding his finger up like a little finger pistol, like a kid playing cowboys, and he's like, bang, 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 bang. The Adept's just like, yeah, that's not going to get me to leave, man. The Reapers do get a probe. This is actually a really nice Reaper run, but he gets a probe. He can't leave, though. Oh, good pull on the probies. Does try to pull back the probes as well. If he can get 3 or 4, it'd be great, but it looks like it's only going to be... Oh, only 2. Okay. I thought there was going to be a bit more damage. Still, mining time, not terrible. And looks like the bunker is up. Command center's there. Going to be a Widow Mine drop to follow it up into multiple barracks. So I would expect a reactor and a tech lab to go down in just a moment's time. He's still building Marines. That's interesting. Cure, I think, a little afraid of Mr. Hero. And Hero, on the other hand, just drops a 3rd. It's a 1-gate 3rd base. Oh, Hero has got such good reads. You know, people always say, why don't you just play the long game and play economic against Hero? And this is the reason. This is the reason why, as much as... And I've been criticizing Maru for it as well. I'm like, Maru... Why don't you just play the long game? You always beat Hero there. This is the reason. If you don't mix in aggressive plays, Hero will play disgustingly greedy. And he doesn't have the information to really even know what the follow-up is. Just like, I think I get away with it. Yeah, I'll drop a 2nd gate, a Robo, and a 3rd gate now after that. And if he sees this, which it looks like, look at his vision. He's set up for it. He's going to spot that. Let's go to Hero's camera, guys. We're on Hero's camera. Medevac enters vision on the north of the map. He hasn't looked at it. He sees it. He sees it. He sees it. Okay. He's got a bunch of Stalkers, man. All off 1 gate. He built 6 Stalkers off 1 gate. This is the cool thing about having a messy early game. You're pumping units nonstop at the start, and even though your production sucks, you actually have the same force of Stalkers to defend the Medevac drop that the 3-gate player has. And you're like, okay, that's kind of cool, man. Oh, still no tech lab on the barracks. And he's going Cloaked Banshees? Oh, I don't know about this. I feel like Cloaked Banshees have come back in a big way. And they have been finding a surprising amount of damage. But, like, this just feels like it's late Banshees. And it's going to delay his stim and everything so long that it feels to me like Cure is basically placing banana peels on the floor, right? He's got the Widow Mine drop up here that so far has been stopped. Hero's like, I saw you putting that banana peel down. Like, I'm not going to let you Widow Mine drop my main. And I feel like the Banshee is just like another banana peel on the floor. So he's hoping that Hero is basically going to be like a cartoon bad guy, start making some dumb F2 decisions, and then he's going to slip over some banana peels and knock himself out, right? The Banshees will come in, he'll have no detection, he'll lose 20 probes to that, another 15 probes to the bloody Widow Mine drop, and see if he can get it done. That Adept's going to try and drag the tank fire into the mineral line! A couple of SCVs go down, and damaging some more, not bad. Stalkers are going to blink in the main, which is of course going to trigger the Medevac to maybe go in with the Widow Mine, but the Banshees... There's not even a second Banshee out. It's about to pop, and it's going to join this one. How does he sneak the Banshees across the map even? I don't know. All the tanks pull into the main, which means the natural is a little exposed. So he just picks off like a depot, goes for a forced order. This is light pressure from Hero, guys. Q doesn't know that. Q has no idea about the third base. He thinks he might be getting 4-gate blinked. He's like, oh god, man. He has no idea that this is actually so light of a commitment. Look at that, picking off a few Marines and SCVs there. Very nicely done. The Banshees sneak past there. Looks like they got past those Stalkers without getting spotted. Storm's on the way. Third base. Now, keep in mind, there's only one observer on the map. It is at home right now. Oh! Widowmine does go in. Okay, Banana Peel number 1 does get cleaned up. But Banana Peel number 2 is coming in right now on the right side. The Banshees are coming in. They get spotted, I believe. No, I don't think he noticed it. I don't think he noticed it, guys. Okay, he's got some Stalkers and an Observer back there. He's got to pull those down. The Banshees are going to find some big damage. He goes for a Stalker drop right through the mineral line over the bio. Damages a lot of SCVs. Doesn't really kill any. Sorry, guys, for the bad observing. The Banshees are up to 14 kills. He didn't pull his probes. Finally, the Stalkers and the Observer here. But 20 probes go down. And he's not even done yet. 22 probes. Oh, Cure with the Banana Peel, man. It worked. It worked. 23. Hero is triggered right now. He was so far ahead economically. The Widowmine drop does come back in. At least that one should get taken out. Oh my god, if he gets a big hit there, that'd be crazy. Okay, that does get taken out. At the end of that, third command center is almost finished. And you know what? This is a completely playable position for Cure. He's back in it. He's back in it. Those Banshees, man, they barely snuck past the Stalkers. And then, of course, there was just so few at home. Maybe didn't have recall on the base. I feel like if he snap recalled, would have been good. But I think his only Observer was up there. And it just takes so long for an Observer to cover that distance. So definitely a rough position. I think Q is just playing a big macro game. And Hero, man, he's building like one pylon at a time. He's trying to reprobe, but he's not reprobing. Hero, wake up, buddy. You can't build one pylon at a time, mate. You were supply blocked for the last 30 seconds trying to build probes. Hero starts another single pylon. Hero, what are we doing, buddy? Come on, man. I mean, I get the storm drop's important, and that tank isn't fully covering it, so we could get big ones. Big juicies! Watch out for the storm drop! Those guys are stacked! Oh, but he didn't quite get the second one deep enough. If it was one square lower, one little square, he would have killed like 12 SCVs at least. That's such a stacked mineral line. But he doesn't quite find it. He's going to try to go in with the Archon. There's no way that's a good choice. This is 100% throwing away an Archon if he insists on committing to the turret. Nah, get out of there. Hero does back off. Good choice. Another Widowmine drop comes in. Stalkers are ready for it. Q is just like, okay, all right, can't commit to that. No worries. But he's well set up. And Hero now has his third resaturated, but it took him so long to resaturate it. There's losing 20 probes, guys. And if you immediately chrono probes don't get supply blocked, you can resaturate very quickly off 3 Nexi. It took him a very long time to do it. And now we're seeing that early lead that he had for a while has disappeared. He's trying to go second Robo Bay, but he doesn't feel confident taking a fourth. Finally, the fourth base goes down to that left side. Giant spready from Q. Q is looking a little paranoid as well himself. +1 attacks finishing for Protoss. +1 armor, about halfway done for Cure. Round 2 of the Storm drop, but that is not a super stacked mineral line. If he gets it there, that'll be good. Oh, he didn't quite get the High Templar dropped there where he needed it to. So he's not really getting any significant damage with this, unfortunately. And that Prism's so damaged, he's got to be really cautious. I do like that he has so many High Templar with so much energy. So for those who don't know, guys, EMP, right? It does 100 damage to shields and energy. If you have a 200 energy High Templar or 175 or more, a single EMP doesn't stop him from storming. So if you just look at the energy differential, you've got like, okay, I got a few, okay, he's actually got 5 ghosts. A few of them with 2 EMPs as well. But yeah, you're gonna need to double EMP these High Templar. And they're spread out a lot, right? So definitely it's a hard thing to get rid of all of that. Disruptor's coming out as well. It feels like Hero's lost track of this army though. Q has got 3 tanks to anchor this. I think 3 tanks, a few Widow Mines as well. It's a really hard army to break. He's gonna go for it. Hero's going for it. Disruptor Storm goes out on the left, but no, he pulls back. He changes his mind. He's already lost 10 probes. Oh man, he really needed to get out in front of this army and force it to siege further away. He's got a prism up on the top right. That's a dead 4th and 13 probes. Hero's gonna shove in. He loses his prism without getting any storms off. Attacks into a giant clump where he's getting annihilated. Q just rips him apart, dude. Banana Peel, Terran, man. We've seen these Banshees come back in such a big way. And it's that sneaky potential, man. It's that sneaky potential. If you can sneak him across the map, they're so frustrating. It's one of the big things which has been ruining Hero from a lot of positive situations recently. Those Banshees keep getting him. It's got to be very frustrating to deal with, but now he's just too far behind to fight it back. And Kua able to play a very, very slow Banshee follow-up. Nice spreadies. And Hero needed a little bit better map vision. I think if he saw this army coming, he could have stalled out the siege a bit further away. But once Kua got between his base and him, you could tell Hero kind of panicked a little bit because he was like, oh, how the hell did you even get there? And definitely wasn't really focused in the moment on what he could do best. He was more frustrated about the fact that this army seemed to materialize out of nowhere. I like the Zealot charge from the left flank, taking out a couple of siege tanks nicely. Oh, that one tank barely surviving. You're kidding me, man. Finally goes down, but there's nothing left on the ground. Kua with some nice spreadies, and he just looks so solid, doesn't he? Kua's TVP is on another level right now. All right, he's on a tear, and he doesn't really, I don't know, Kua has this effortless way of looking, in this matchup right now. He's on a tear. It doesn't, I don't know, like the Banshee's sneaking out, it didn't feel like he had to scramble crazy hard. It just calm, methodical, and when his pushes come, they are so hard to stop. It feels like Hero is so often behind in those scenarios, and that's why Hero is done with defending. He's playing Proxy Stargate Oracle, guys. Zealot is already on the way. He's building a Proxy pylon. Hero says, I need to cheese this mother trucker. I gotta get some respect. Unfortunately for him, there is an SCV coming across the map. That's gonna get in, see no expansion, and give Kua time to respond. The question is, how much time? Not a lot, because the Stargate will be starting momentarily. Guys, this was a 12 pylon, I believe, because that's a 1 minute 50 Stargate. So I think that must be a 12 pylon, right? To get a 1 minute 50 Stargate, if memory serves, that's basically 12 pylon timing. It's been a little while since I studied this build, but definitely maybe 12 or 13 pylon. It's a very quick build. You can see he's under saturation on the minerals. This is going to hit one of the fastest possible oracles, and he's going to be able to marine factories on the way, but like, how do you possibly defend that oracle? Is it just going to be keep building marines? Do you build a reactor? He's got to get a bunker to cover his expansion. He's looking for the proxy with the SCV. The Reaper is beating back the Zealot right now. The Zealot running away, but his mistress is here and she says, get away from my sub! The Reaper thought they were the Dom, but of course with that Adept Shade coming in, they are getting beaten out of that territory. Reaper does back off. Right now, SCV is still not seen the Stargate. Oracle starts up. Chrono Boost goes down. Adept coming in right now. 2 Marines and a Reaper. 3rd Marine on the way, but that does not shoot up enough to kill it. I think essentially he needs to wait for a Widow Mine. So Reaper's going to cover the natural, and he's going to try and defend with 3 Marines, which will damage the Oracle, but it will beat 3 Marines, I'm quite sure. Oh, he's going to go Cyclone. Oh. Okay, these Marines, there's going to be a 4th one out very soon. Does the Oracle just dance around the Marines, or does it fight? I think with the 4th Marine not quite out, I think Hero just lasers them down. You don't have a lot of energy with this build. He sees the tech lab's not done, so he knows he has 30 seconds till a Cyclone gets here. Good micro by Kua. That's going to force the Oracle to move a little bit to catch up. But you notice he's only got a little bit of energy left, guys. 10 energy left, so we can kill like 3 SCVs maybe. And yeah, it changes targets a little bit too much, but the Adept and the Zealot have run past. A Reaper is not a lot of damage, man. So the Zealot and the Adept are working on the wall. We've got another Oracle on the way right now. Oh, Kua, careful with the Reaper. Oh my god, he's doing really good micro to stop him getting in the wall. But I really feel he needed to go Widow Mines, I think is the play here, not the Cyclones. I know that the Oracle will get some damage, but you're okay to take some damage here. You just need to not take catastrophic damage. Even as it is, remember the Nexus is not done yet? Is this actually a good enough hold? Is that actually a good enough hold? Equal workers is normally good for Terran. Twilight Council's on the way. There's a Phoenix building. Oh, okay, he's going to use the Phoenix to pick up the Cyclone, guys. So the Oracle will laser down the Marines while the Cyclone is in midair. Hero coming in, and then he's going to go after the SCVs, drop the Cyclone, and fly away. Hero Jenkins! And he's actually got 2 Oracles, doesn't he? The second Oracle's alive as well. Oh god, the SCVs pull to repair the Cyclone. They realize, wait a second, the Phoenix is just taking the Cyclone out of the fight. It's going to try to lock onto one of the Oracles. It should get a kill. Oh, maybe not. Because its lock-on was on cooldown still. Oh, man. Does that lock-on cooldown get frozen while it's in midair? I'm going to have to check that in the replay. You guys, please remind me, those who are watching live, to check in the replay. I actually don't know, because I feel like the lock-on should have been finished. It should have, like, the cooldown should have immediately been reset when it had dropped, but maybe he accidentally locked onto the Phoenix and then canceled it or something like that. Starport is there, second barracks as well. 29 workers versus 35. At the end of the day, it was 9 SCVs, 7 Marines for only 1 Zealot. And that is the efficiency that Protoss players love, my friends. Third Nexus is on the way as well. Hero, 3-gate blink. He's just like, okay, no worries. Phoenix is there. We got the Reaper as well. Oh, doesn't see the Oracles. Oracles just fly by for now. So 3 Cyclones and a Viking, guys. If you guys are wondering, so this is the Italian military going into World War II. I've recently been playing a little bit of Company of Heroes 3, and it's just reminded me, not that they really cover it in the campaign, but let's be real. I think with the way they made, even on expert setting, the AI kind of really dumb and easy to beat. I think they were trying to emulate what the Italian military was actually like, where they'd basically spent all their money investing in their African wars 10, 15 years earlier, and kind of were working with crap, to put it simply. That's what this is, guys. Really good for defending the Oracle harass, but 3 Cyclones and a Viking are useless once you get to big battles. Like, the problem is, you might think, well, it's not the worst. They'll help a little, but the problem is this slows down your barracks so much. So you've got all these tech units, but you're forced to just sit on 2 base and do nothing. Meanwhile, Hero's got a 3rd base he's probing up. The Reaper goes down. Hero's like, oh, check it out. I got High Templar for feedback here. I'm going to probably make Psystorm in a moment. And what are you doing? What are you doing? You're sitting there. I see with my Revelation, you have no follow-up. Your stim isn't done for ages. You're not going to have shields and all that other stuff, man. And we actually have an update from chat, guys. Apparently, the cooldown on the Cyclone lock-on pauses while the Graviton Beam is active. So that's interesting. I did not realize that. So if you do pick up a Cyclone, it will, if it's already used that lock-on before getting picked up, it will not, it'll be like frozen at the same point of where it was on the cooldown until it gets dropped down, which is really interesting. So that's actually something which Hero no doubt knew about, which is why his Oracles stayed as long as they did. We've got the gateways on the way, Robo Storm coming in. This feels like a pretty dominating position for Hero, because as much as the Oracles couldn't find more follow-up damage, where's the bio count at, guys? We've got 9 Marines, 3 Marauders, a couple tanks to Raven. It's not looking great. Viking goes down the left, Raven the right. So Cure is desperately trying to harass with these units, but I don't know, man. Yeah, I don't agree with throwing the Raven away, because unless you've got a frontal push that's going to shove really hard at the same time, 1 round of auto turrets, especially you might get feedback, is not that good. 1 landed Viking in the main. I mean, that'll be useful later on. That could do some damage. But an amazing position to be in for Hero right now. Goes for double forge behind the 3rd. Now, remember, guys, often your 3rd base, this is a base which is pretty commonly dying. So you want to build your forges usually out front. Hero's decided to be a little bit more conservative than most pro players. Build it behind the 3rd. Still a very easily droppable position. This is what we call pro gamer's strategy. It's where you throw your buildings literally anywhere just because. And you see them die 5 minutes later in the base trade right before 2-2 finishes. And you're like, what if they weren't there? To be fair, it's PvT, so it's just as likely you'll have a drop in your main killing your forges. But I do feel this area is like the safest, in between, tucked behind your main and your natural. That's for all races. I always am like, chuck your evos there, man. Chuck your forges there. Engineering base behind your main base is totally fine, I think, because you're not usually getting dropped as a Terran. Ooh, stasis trap. Puts Kura in the naughty corner momentarily. Q has more supply than Hero. Now, Hero's got double forge and a 4th on the way, so I still think he's massively ahead. But the fact that right now, Kua has a lot more supply and is slightly out on upgrades just shows the patience and determination of this man. He's floating his 3rd down. The Phoenix is going to have to heal up at the battery and then go back for more. I love this. He's like, hold on a second. Let me just go have a Gatorade. Gets back in there. The Viking's like, oh, that's not fair. I'm low on electrolytes. Ugh. Oracles are going to pull back as well. 5 barracks is there. Ghost Academy. Oh, we're going to go Warp Prism speed as well. I mean, Warp Prism speed, double Robo Colossus. He's missing the Viagra upgrade so far, the extended thermal lance, those who don't know. But he's got it queued up behind that. Interesting that he'd go Prism speed before it. Probing really hard. Hero's going up to 80 workers, guys. That's very unusual. Actually, I think 78 is the number that most pros... It's either 73 or 78. Most Protoss players never go past that number. I know Neeb and a few others used to love going to like 90 probes, but I think the Korean players decided you just don't have enough supply for army if you do that. Man, there's a lot of cannon battery going down across these bases as well. This is a pretty nice setup. Stasis traps literally everywhere. This is something not enough players do. Because the Raven can only be with one army. If Kua splits up and is going all around the map, I mean, these stasis traps could be huge. Obviously, they do eventually expire. For those who don't know, stasis traps used to not expire. They were permanent. Does anyone remember that? And then people realize, wait a second. You could go like 4 oracles and put stasis traps all over the map and they just never ran out. Prism goes down. Very nice. And an oracle as well. This is a big push, man. Hero's core army is 2 Zealots, 2 Colossus, and 14 Stalkers. Oh my god. And he loses another oracle. No. Kua is not going to 3-1 this series after this early game. Oh! Good storm. Very good storm. Those medevacs especially getting damaged. It's not that impactful right now, but in the long term, those medevacs could be going down. Oh, nice EMP stops that storm. Colossus coming forward. There's no Vikings. The tanks, though, are very good anti-Colossus units. Battery overcharge goes down to top those units up. EMP comes forward, but that is not the biggest deal. Battery overcharge is there. Stalkers and flanking High Templar are going to cut off the surround. How many gateways are we at? Only 8 gateways right now with a 5th base on the way. I'm surprised Hero's only at 8 gateways. Feedback lands on the Raven. Anti-armor missile goes down. I think it's a good idea to just pull back here for Hero. He doesn't need to go. He does not need to go yet. He's got to be careful. Interference Matrix is on that Colossus on the left side. Army on the right's taking a beating. He's going to have to go in, but his flank is not there just yet. He's landing big storms and Colossus shots, though. Oh, man, those anti-armor missile Colossuses are going to go down. The Colossi do get hammered. I got to say, at the end of the day, it's an okay fight for Hero, but if he kept those Colossus alive, it would be a massive, astounding victory. As it is, 4th Command Center is almost finished. Kua slightly down in supply after the rebuild. It is 1-1 upgrades versus 1-1. 2-2 is ahead for Hero, as it's still only single engineering bay upgrading for Kua. He's going up to 8 barracks behind this. And a few more probes building. Hero's actually going to go up to like 90 workers. He wants to be able to throw the kitchen sink at Kua. He wants to be able to, I mean, he's on 8 gases already. So I think he just wants to warp in like 20 Dark Templar and just kill a base and basically win the game while his ground army postures on the other side of the map. And you need an immense amount of money to do that. People used to think it was really broken, the Mass Blink Dark Templar, but because Terran players have been so good at pushing at the right times, it feels like very rarely does a Protoss player get to that stage where they can make that big, massive Dark Templar. Hero now in the lead, though, significantly on the economy, soon to be on the upgrades as well. Definitely seems like a possibility. 2 Colossus are out. He's adding an Immortal and a few Stalkers right now. Only double Robo. We did finally see Estrella recently go for a quad Robo play. First pro gamer I've seen do that in a long time, and it looked so good. You can mess up like 5 fights in a row, and you instantly rebuild so many disruptors. Hero, though, is like, man, 2's enough for me. 2 more gateways are on the way, so he's going 10 gate. 3-3 starting up for him. He's up double upgrades right now. It's a good time for him to fight. If he can land a little bit of splash damage, but look at the spready. Marauders up front, Widowmine spreads, Marines and Ghosts in the back. Kua's numbers are the problem. He doesn't feel he has the numbers to just man mode this, but these Widowmines are definitely softening up Hero, getting him ready to get bruised up and start bleeding him down. More Immortals on the way, as well as 3 more gateways. That's going to be 13 gates for Hero. He's on 5 bases. He's got the money. And he says, you know what? Reyna was pretty good at PvT, and you know why? It's because he could always warp in 22 Zealots in a battle. Let's get to that spot of the game. Let's go for that Reyna level Protoss economy. And it's cool to see Hero mixing it up, because so often Protoss players just sit on 75 workers and stagnate a little bit, but this amount of upgrades and everything is fantastic. Not many disruptors. It's interesting, he's got 3 Immortals, 2 Colossus, only 1 disruptor, 7 High Templar though. These Widow Mines, I was about to say, are getting crazy value. As I said that, Stalkers do dodge that one. EMP. Oh! Oh my god, the High Templar was so clumped. They dropped like 14 storms on the same location because he knew he was about to get them EMP'd. It might look a little scrappy and sloppy, but I think he might have the numbers to just barrel forward. An 11 supply army advantage. 2-2 versus 2-1 upgrades. Big EMPs across the front line, but that is a lot of Zealots, Immortals, Archons, and Colossus coming in right now. The Vikings will take out some of these Colossus. The Immortals raining down death on the Marines and Marauders. Zealots and Stalkers blinking forward. The last Colossus goes down, but it's only air units left over. And that ain't going to be enough. Hero with a fantastic proxy oracle opening. And I do think he needed to go for the Widow Mine instead of Cyclone to defend that. So basically, because with this, it's all about timing. A Tech Lab takes 18 seconds to build. A Widow Mine takes 21 seconds. So you can imagine having one Widow Mine doesn't change everything, but it protects your mineral line, right? So it would already be popping and burrowing like above the command center, And sure, the Oracle can sit down here, but you could pull your SCVs away. And this Oracle does not have a lot of energy. Now, he could still obviously stop you building the starport, right? He could pick off an SCV here or there, but this would also allow you to have more Marines defending the natural rather than relying on the Marines in the main. Or you could have the Marines just stay near the Widow Mine, so whenever the Oracle tries to engage them, they pull back to the Widow Mine. You build a second Widow Mine, or then you build a Tech Lab and a Cyclone right after, whichever way you want to go. I think you'd go straight Tech Lab Cyclone, but I think you need to open one Widow Mine in this scenario. Because if you think about this in broad scale, for any Terran players out there who are struggling with the mental side, well, this is bullshit, man. I didn't even stop to build a reactor. Well, you've gone for a Reaper, number one, and an expansion. This guy's expansion is 2 minutes late. Just under 2 minutes late. Like, that is 2 minutes late. Like, you gotta realize how much he's committed, guys. You can make a few adjustments to your build order and still be okay. The fact is, Q has still made this a close game, even after taking massive damage to these opening oracles. And if you guys want to see the Cyclone lock on, we'll see that momentarily. Here we go. So check this out, guys. So the Cyclone locks on, gets picked up, and you can see, because the lock on gets cancelled when it gets picked up, immediately this starts doing its 4-second cooldown. You can see there's a little sliver, like it's just started ticking around, because it kind of unravels the graphic like a clock face as it cools down, right? But that doesn't start while it's lifted the way I thought it did. So it's only when it lands, where I was saying, oh, he's going to get an Oracle, because the Oracle's like, they need to leave right now. But he stayed there for an extra second or two, and you could see it was 4 seconds from landing when the lock-on became available, and wasn't even able to get through the shields. Alright guys, up to Game 5, the decider on altitude. We've got a nice birthday cake here, sitting next to the Nexus for Dragon Kaiser Gaming 0. Bottom left side, we've got Kua. He's got that nice smiley face star there. Barracks Gas, he does often do a pretty late 18 SCV scout. Looks like he's not going to rally that SCV scout. So I think no scout, probably into reactor for Kua again, maybe? And, wait. Hero went down just to check for an eBay block. Why? And I don't know what's been happening with Windows 11, but it happened yesterday as well. It tabbed me out of game and it just did it again. Thanks, Windows 11. Shout out to Windows 11, guys. Got a new computer, so it kind of just came with it on it. If only I could go back to Windows XP, guys. If only. Anyways, Nexus will go down. He was just checking if there was an engineering bay block. That's all Hero scouted for. And indeed, it is actually the Barracks SCV scout while going reactor first for Kua. Interesting. So a modicum of safety for him, but he's going to start pumping those Marines. Adept, of course, being chronoed across this map. Does look like it was a call before Nexus opening for Hero. And what do we got? Second Barracks coming in. Into Factory is what he did last time. This is game 1 all over again, guys. Now, what went on in that game? I'm trying to remember. I feel like... Oh, wait, but this is a Stargate. Oh, so this is a very different game. Hero does like to play Phoenix Colossus on this map. There we go. Wait. It's 3 barracks? Oh, I thought it was going to be the Factory again. He's doing a 3 racks on the biggest map in the map pool. 3 racks is quite good versus Stargate, guys. I mean, especially... I think it's just going to be Phoenix. I mean, Hero has no idea what's going on in this game. This is his camera, guys. I think he's just expecting a Widow Mine drop or something like that. Now, I would say, generally on this map, since it's hard for Terran to do, you know, standard macro play and do, like, big frontal pushes, it takes a long time to get across the map. Terran tends to play this map very greedy or very aggressive, and it's usually just a janky, crazy attack they throw out. But this is game 5. It's not game 1 or 2. This is the deciding game of the series. So, I don't know, man. I mean, you can already see there's a shield battery, a robo. I guarantee you he chronos an immortal out of this. Because you're used to, like, these weird 10 Marines, a Cyclone, and then a Siege Tank and a Liberator rock up at, like, 4.5 minutes. So I think Hero should be pretty safe. If he non-stop builds Phoenix, makes an immortal. The problem is if you move out to take that third, and then you just get hit by, like, 20 Marines, and you just lose your third... Obviously, if the Phoenix start getting picked off, that can be an issue. Scouting with the Phoenix is very important here. Now, even though, of course, Kua doesn't know he's going Stargate and this gives him that information, I think it's more important for you to figure out, hey, you're playing 3 racks, even if it gives that info away. And as long as your Phoenix doesn't get hit, Cure can't be sure that that's a Phoenix. It could be a hallucination, and now he knows it's a real Phoenix. He's experienced enough to know that that was not double damage. Phoenix hallucinations do take double damage. All hallucinations do. Is it double or triple? I'm pretty sure it's double. Robo Bay going down now. He's going to go towards Colossus. Very important in this scenario. And a well-timed factory going down at about 4 minutes 10. All off one gas, guys. All off one gas. Mass marine production. He squeezed 2 Marauders in, notice. Gives him some good anti-armored power, some tanking power. And a second battery on the way. Hero might be a bit conservative here. Pylon does finish just in time. He needs another Pylon or he can't start a Colossus. Hero, this would be a very bad time to get supply blocked, my friend. You need 2 more Pylons right now. He's also only built 2 Phoenix, which is actually kind of good versus this. As long as he doesn't botch his force fields. Like, if Q stims up the ramp and wins this game, that would be most upsetting. 2 Pylons do go down. I think that'll be in time to start a Colossus. And he's up on 2 base saturation, so I think Hero's fine here. No third command center started for Terran. Phoenix will just pick off a few SCVs to try to keep a little bit of a worker advantage, which of course Protoss is always looking for in this matchup. Phoenix should be able to get out of there, no worries. The lack of a third base is frustrating. He's checking for corner bases. Kira is like, what are you doing? Is he actually... What? Is that worth it? I guess he wanted to scan to confirm the tech anyway, so now he knows it's Colossus tech. Once again, Prism Speed. Why are we going... He wants to do Prism Speed Colossus harass? Oh my god. You mad lad, Hero. Hero's trying to chase him down. Oh, it's an Immortal, not a Colossus for now, but yeah. That's very weird to go Speed Prism on 2 base. Okay, Hero, what are you doing? Where's your third base? Hero, what is this build? You can't just... You've pushed him back. You should have complete urgency around rushing that base out. Is he expecting a 2 base all-in? He hasn't seen a third command center. So Hero is saying, oh, if he 5-rexes, I might just die. I don't think I can defend a third. So I'm just going to go for 2 Colossus. I'm going to go Speed Prism Colossus Harassment. And yet Kua knows. How does Kua... Kua's already going Vikings before Medivacs? How does Kua know that Hero is going to play Speed Prism Colossus? They must have played on the ladder. 100% Kua has seen this build before. No one goes Vikings before Medivacs. That's not a thing. You need Medivacs to heal up this bio you stimmed earlier. But the Vikings are going to stop this harassment from doing that much. Luckily for Hero, he gets in the main anyway. He's going to take out 4 SCVs, make it 5. Get out of there. Oh, God. Oh, God. Run, run, run. Oh, one more volley would have put him deep in the red. Forge, Twilight, Gateways coming in. The lack of a third command center means this absolutely could be playable for Hero, even though he's staying 2 base for such a long time. I mean, the first 2 Medivacs are only now building. Third command center is going to start here at the 7-minute mark almost. And Hero does need to move out to take his own third. I mean, come on. You can't... I mean, unless he's just doing a 2 base all-in. But in that case, I would expect... He's actually got 4 sentries. Oh man, 4 sentry, 3 Colossus timing is huge. Normally you'd go Stalkers with this rather than charge, but he's going to go charge with it. He does start a third base. The problem is tank plus bunker wall off. You can't really break that with a Colossus army. So Hero has to probe up. If Kua moves out to take the third, that's where the sentries and the Colossus can be amazing. But there are more tanks building, and tanks do help defend this army. So the reason why Colossus Sentry is so powerful against 3-racks is because normally they don't have any siege tanks, and they normally don't add siege tanks afterwards. And because their starport's so late, they're trying to catch up on medevac production, so they're not building Vikings, which means essentially you've got 5 and 6 range Marines and Marauders, these very basic units, and then you've got force fields that stop them from ever getting any attacks off, split the army up, and Colossus with their 9 range are going to pick them apart. He's only got 7 range. Why? He's forgotten extended thermal lance, guys. He's going Templar Archives, more gateways, and probing up his Hero, but he's definitely behind economically. He took so long to take that third, and Kua seems to have such a good read on him. This is why Hero was playing so greedy earlier in this series. He was trying to make Kua afraid of the greed and feel like he has to be an aggressive Terran player. Kua has not taken the bait. Kua has said, no, I macro good at StarCraft, Hero. And he's just going to do it, man. Oh my god. He is just going to be doing it. That is, he's just like, no, we're just going to macro, add ghosts, chill. And look at the supply. Supply's not looking great for Protoss. The lack of extended thermal lance is a huge, huge mistake. Hero needs to, right now, get that upgrade. And, man, that third base is still not saturated. 9 minutes in. And that's with workers transferred out of his main as well. He's going to lose another mineral patch there. That's oversaturated. Hero needs a 4th base. In this sort of game, your main mine's out so early that you really need that 4th. Phoenix are going to try and do some economic damage, which is a good call. Storm coming in could be big for Hero here. That always could be the game changer. We're going up to 5 ghosts as Cure. He's showing no signs of wanting to go for a super long game. Phoenix do get EMP'd. One of them will fly out this way. Sees the Ghost Academy, but of course he'd already seen that ghost that EMP'd him. 4th Nexus is on the way. A few High Templar Zealots and a shield battery in the main. Only 6 gates of production. That's an issue for Hero. He might not realize that his production's so slow just because this early game's been so wonky. And normally when you're taking a 4th, you're always at least 8 gateways. But 6 gates is not enough for this stage of the game. He can max out on 6 gates, but he won't be able to remax very quickly at all. As I say that, a gateway goes down. That'll bring him to 7, which is something. Hallucinations are scouting very well. Sentries, now that there's tanks, Vikings, and ghosts out, are no longer particularly useful units. Phoenix are going to try to come in on the rally, but they're going to run into a lot of Marines. Watch out, Hero. Oh, my lord. Not like that. Okay, it's going to try and get those Phoenix out. Oh, God. Phoenix are gone. Squished out of the sky. Luckily, Blink's on the way. There's only 2 Phoenix left, though. Still no extended thermal lance, man. These are thin beam Colossus, guys. They're going to say, I promise normally it lasts longer than that. It's thicker than that. I promise. Ugh. It's going to try and flank with a single... Okay, so a single Storm Drop. I like it. I like the single Storm Drop coming in from the left. If he can get on the bio, that'd be big. But he's going to have to just drop on the medevacs, I think. Oh, not bad, not bad. Oh, I like the second redrop, but does lose the Prism. Hangs around a little bit too long. Very little anti-air here, but only 4 Vikings for now. Q is just going to kind of stand off. Wait until he has a few more units. 4th Command Center and an Armory are coming in. 2nd Forge building for Hero. Hero's realizing this game's going to go on. He's going to have to start transferring workers and building more workers because his economy is just bad. Cure is, by simply looking like he's going to go for a big attack and then pulling back and going to the next step, he's getting ahead. He's getting over responses and overreactions out of Hero from the very start of this game to now. And, I mean, Hero's got a good setup. He's got a lot of splash damage. Can he turn that into a victory, and how? Well, it's all about the giant spreadies. Right now, the problem is, if his whole army F2s to the top left, these guys could come in on the right. He's going to need to split his army up and spread his High Templar out. Right now, all those energy units are very clumped. The lack of extended thermal lance is a problem. I keep saying it. Keep in mind just how big that is. Watch the Colossus stumble into the enemy territory when the fights happen. Definitely can't defend this right side. Those Phoenix are going to go down. Decent Storm actually does save the Phoenix. 8 barracks coming in. 2-2 is about 1/3 complete there for the Terran player. 2-2 is also on the way, slightly ahead for Protoss. The 9th gateway going down. Hero building the last pylons he needs to hit the max. He comes over, does a bit of a storm drop. EMPs a few ghosts as well. Actually, really cute play. Gets a Viking. Oh, Prism flies into the main base, but there's Vikings and turrets ringing that bad boy. Tries to hide in the corner. Does he bother recalling? I think he could have if he did it straight away. He might have barely got it, but... Oh! Another Storm Drop goes out looking for the army on the right side. EMPs come in for the punish. Cure pounces just like that. He's going to stomp this base. The Colossus is getting some decent damage, but remember, it doesn't have extended thermal lance. It's not getting as many shots off as it could. He F2'd his army down here and then immediately pulled that army up to the left side at the same time. Hero needs a bit more splash damage over here. I think he's going to need some disruptors. But at this stage, whoever's sitting defensive tends to have a disadvantage on altitude. Doesn't really matter what the matchup is. Defending on this map kind of sucks. Zealot, Archon, Colossus, Immortal trying to chase that army down. Just picks up, gets out of there. Q is still there on the left side. Cop's only the edge of a storm. He's been very good at pulling back. Stalkers do go a little far forward. Still no extended thermal lance. Hero showing no signs of realizing. He's so busy multitasking 2 sides. Doesn't seem to realize what's up. Now notice he's trying to gather his army. He scared this army so far back, he's trying to bring his whole army across here to join forces and cement this. If these units move south, they can cut off the retreat. He's going to do it right now. He's going to do it right now. Kua needs to be very careful. He needs to bring that other wing of his army in. He's got a lot of units back there that aren't part of this. Hero's going to shove for it. He feels like he's got him, but he's actually walking into a sandwich of his own making. Oh, God, Terran bread coming in from 2 sides. That Protoss filling needs to get out of here, man. He is surrounded right now. 1 Colossus falls. Another Colossus getting very low. The Zealot Archon and Immortal Colossus trying to fight there, but the Vikings doing very well. The SCVs pull back. They don't overcommit. It's a lot of Immortal Archon, but there's no Prism. There's no warp in point. If he could warp in around his Zealots, I think Hero has this, but As it is, the Immortals can't quite close with that. They've got no support. The Immortals have all been mostly EMP'd. The Vikings land in front. Q is going to land on top of that army. Hero goes for a big push, but Q pulls back and calmly and steadily surrounds that army. Absolutely delectable engagement for Q. Now Hero's hanging on by the skin of his teeth. 3 Stalkers, a couple of Zealots, an Immortal. The disruptor of all disruptors. It does not land. Good dodges by Q. Another one comes down. They can buy time. 2 disruptors is far from continual fire, and the second one doesn't even shoot. Hero's trying to hang on. Battery overcharge right in front of the Terran army. Nice dodge against the storms. Storms all over the medevacs. Man, some big storms, but he doesn't have any material on the ground to back it up. He's only got 9 gates, 2,000 minerals in the bank with only 9 gates. And Q there, just calm, slow, methodical. And he just keeps on, you know, Hero wants to fight. Q doesn't ever give him the opportunity to in that last game. Made him so afraid from start to finish. And then when Hero finally lost patience and went for it, Q was ready. That there is just, this is what I'm talking about, guys. 3-2-0, he's so calm and methodical. He's a real force to be reckoned with right now. I do believe Q actually has the best Terran versus Protoss in the world right now. GG, well played.